Hello and welcome to another episode of Eye on Education. I'm your host Joel Iwaskiewicz, or as my students know me, Mr. I. Joining me today in the studio is Cam Rogers, a graduate of the Nashua High School South class of 2013 and a current junior studying broadcast journalism at the University of Maryland. Cam, thanks so much for joining us in the studio.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on the program.
Welcome back to Nashua. We are excited to hear all about the time you've had so far as a broadcast journalism student at Maryland, but in particular this current year, which sounds like it's been an exciting one for you.
Yeah, this past semester was absolutely log-jammed, I would say. I, of course, had all my classes, a full boatload of classes, and then I entered this guest reporter contest for CampusInsiders.com, which is a big digital network for college sports, and that was like another class for me, and it was a good time. Like, the campaigning was fun, and then finally finding out that I won was obviously the icing on the cake, and then that allowed me to win an all-expense-paid trip to Arizona to cover the national football game for college, Alabama versus Clemson, and it was just an outstanding experience. And I'll tell you what, these last couple months, absolutely surreal. I'm not a deep person, but I got to say right here, right now, I mean, reflecting back on it and having all my friends support me in the campaign and big broadcasters in the industry support me on social media, it's been amazing.
Cam, that sounds fantastic, and I think reflecting back is going to be the perfect approach for us. Why don't we dial it back, actually, to your beginnings at University of Maryland? What was it that drew you to that school, and in particular to this program?
Absolutely. So actually, I'm going to dial it back even more. Go back to elementary school when I was first sold on the industry. I've always wanted to entertain, be in front of a camera, be in front of crowds. That's always what I've loved to do, and of course, we'll talk about that later with Lauren Byers and how I kind of developed my craft throughout school here at Nashua. But going into Maryland, Maryland had the big school going for them, the big sports, which meant big broadcasting. That's kind of the correlation there. So I was sold on that, and that really kind of boosted me into being interested in the Philip Merrill College of Journalism, which is well known throughout the country alongside Syracuse and Missouri, etc. So in Maryland, I also have a good base there. I know a lot of people. I have family there, so it's kind of like a safe environment for me to kind of have the people there to support me if I ever need any help. And so that was part of it as well. And of course, I'm a Ravens and Orioles fan, so they're out of Maryland, so that had a little bit of a pull as well. So it all just kind of culminated into me wanting to go to Maryland, and I always loved their sports going back when I was younger too. So Maryland was a big draw for me, and that was my number one over any other school.
It sounds like you really did find the spot that suits your interest, that suits your personality, that suits your family connections. Seems like it couldn't have been a better setup for you. So entering as an underclassman in this journalism program, what are the kinds of work that you're being introduced to as you start to get your feet wet, essentially, before you really dive in and get the full experiences out in the field?
Right. Journalism, a lot of it is not actually about the degree. It's more about the experience and what you can show future employers. So, of course, you have the regular core classes. You have media law, media ethics, the basics of journalism. And then you, of course, actually have the on-air stuff, the hands-on work, actually going out and getting stories, producing stories, using editing machines like Premiere Pro, that's what we use at Maryland, and kind of being well-rounded. Even computer science, that's also applicable to journalism as well, because of course, everybody wants a coder out there, any employer, and having that skill is big as well. So we kind of get the whole experience as a journalism major, and internships are huge too, because when you go and intern with people and you meet people and you connect with them on LinkedIn, you share your business cards, that's really where you make it in this industry, is meeting the right people. And I'll be honest, there has to be an element of luck involved in this industry to make it to the top, which is ultimately my goal. I want to be on the national stage, entertaining in some way, game shows, sports, whatever. You have to meet the right people, and you got to get that stroke of luck, so that's also a component as well. But Maryland, the Philip Merrill College of Maryland, Philip Merrill College of Journalism, has been just awesome. The experience has been great, and the professors are awesome, and they all, of course, pitched in with the campaign for Campus Insiders as well, and they love to see Terps going out and chasing their dream.
No, I think Maryland might have to think about potentially hiring you in a PR position. I feel like if anybody needs to be sold on this program, you're the man to do it. Now, obviously, you talk about having the strike of luck, that first moment where you're really able to make a break. Sounds like this year you came across a moment that students across the nation were probably pretty envious of. Why don't you tell us more about this Campus Insiders contest, how it is that it came across your path, and certainly how it is that it became such a huge success for you?
Right. So I saw the advertisement actually through the journalism school in September, and when I saw it, I thought to myself, I have to go for this. Like, they grade on social media branding, which is what I'm pretty good at, and also personality. And I'm like, all right, so I'm in on this. So I developed a plan throughout September, started to kind of think about how I was going to go about it. And of course, they require a video entry on Facebook, so that was the first thing I was thinking about. So I go out and we do the video in the TV studio at Maryland, and I just do a little preview of Maryland football. And I throw some jokes in there, of course, throw in a little personality, a little self-deprecating humor. That's usually my go-to. And so the video is out, and then starts the social media campaigning. And that's when really you're growing your personal brand, but you're also growing the brand of Campus Insiders. That's kind of what they were going for in this contest. So basically, I had as many people as possible share my video on Facebook. And then on Twitter, tweet out, I follow Campus Insiders to support me, Mr. Rogers99, for the contest. And that went on for a couple of months. And I'll tell you, it wore me down. As I said, it was like another class. But you know what? I had so much fun with it. I would wake up on a weekday in the morning, sift through my Facebook friends, write down the names of people who I think would help me out, and then personally message them, ask them how they're doing, and then be like, hey, I'm doing this guest reporter contest. You might help me out sharing my Facebook video and then going on Twitter and tweeting out in support. And everybody, just everybody came to the cause. And, you know, there's no secrets here in terms of what I want to do when I grow up because with broadcasting, you're kind of on the stage and everyone sees your work. So everybody just kind of rallied and was like, let's get this kid to Arizona. Let's get Cam Rogers to broadcast for Campus Insiders. And so everybody helped out. And of course, you have the Ryan Seacrest thing, Juliana Rancic, E! News host, and then Vernon Davis, tight end for the Broncos. Two of those people are Maryland alums. They tweeted out in support. That really gave me a boost as well. But I'm telling you what, I am so grateful for all my friends and the community here in Nashville and at Maryland for really just rising to the occasion. It was awesome to see.
Well, on behalf of everybody here back in town, clearly thrilled to see you taking on the national stage, and with the help of you two, something that could even go international. Congratulations on such a huge step. I believe we've actually got some footage of you finding out that you were the winner of the contest, which was certainly a pretty memorable moment of your career. Why don't we cut and take a look at Cam finding out that he was the winner of the Campus Insiders guest reporting contest.
A couple months ago, Campus Insider set out to find a guest reporter, someone looking for a shot to cover college football on the biggest stage in Arizona for the national championship game. Well, we're about to announce our winner, Cam Rogers, but he thinks it's still a competition. Let's welcome in Cam Rogers, one of our finalists for the Campus Insider's guest reporter position. And Cam, we're going to go rapid fire with you on some college football playoff questions, since that is where you could potentially be reporting from. Are you ready to do this?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Which of the 4 starting quarterbacks would likely win a dance-off?
Oh, Deshaun Watson.
See, now that might be subjective. We went Baker Mayfield here because he likes to do all the whip and the nay-nay, but that I'll let you have that one.
Okay, fair enough.
Finally, did you know that you've already won the guest reporter position? I'm just totally seeing if you're paying attention.
Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
I just wanted to see if you were actually studying, that's all.
Oh wow. I can't put it into words, and it's my profession. I'm supposed to put things into words. Wow.
So Cam, are you excited to go to Arizona?
I am pumped. Let's do this.
Wow, Cam. Well, I can imagine that no matter how long you're in the industry or no matter how much it may change during your time working, that's a moment that's going to stick with you for a long time.
Absolutely. Actually hearing the words, because so many of my friends were asking, did you win yet? Did you win yet? Did you win yet? And I had to keep saying, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. Going to have an interview in the future. They email me and they say, hey, we're going to have you on for a final interview. Obviously, as you folks know, it wasn't a final interview. It was the revealance that I won the contest, and I was in my dad's office downstairs, and I freaked out, and my mom could hear me from upstairs. It was just awesome to hear. And,
that's fantastic. Clearly, that was a pretty defining moment. Were there any other moments during your experience in Arizona that you would look back on and say you had, whether it was an encounter with a particular individual, or a chance that you had in meeting fans, or even just part of the thrill of being part of the national championship? What do you look back on and see as those highlights?
Well, I look back on the Man on the Street package that I did when I went around the Fan Central, which was in the Phoenix Convention Center, and I just kind of interviewed interviewed random people about the game. That's where I really let my personality flow, and I asked them questions about the actual game, and I also asked them questions, hey, could I tackle Derrick Henry, who's the running back for Alabama, who's 245 pounds, like 6'1", and obviously it's a joke because I'm like a buck 55 and 5'9", but that kind of like was fun for me because people were laughing, I was having a good time, I was kind of in my element, if you will, just kind of asking questions about the game, and so that was fun, just kind of roaming around. And then, of course, I had an interview with Ozzie Newsome, the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens, and as I mentioned, I'm a Ravens fan, so I was like a kid on Christmas, just interviewing just a big player in the National Football League, and of course he went to Alabama, a big tight end for them, had some great years over there, so that was a fantastic interview as well, and I had to ask him, his nickname is the Wizard of Oz, so you got to tell me, Mr. Newsome, what's the deal with that? So I kind of like got my personality flowing there as well. And really, I think that's what Campus Insiders was looking for. Of course, they were looking for that in the campaign, and I think that's what they were looking for while I was actually there. So that's really what I enjoyed most about it, was that I had no fear at all. I just, just did my thing, and I'll tell people that I fear flying. I don't fear doing this, kind of talking in front of a camera. So we all have our fears, but public speaking, things like that is just what I enjoy to do.
Well, it's no surprise. I think it's on full display, and as we know, it's been on full display for a while, which will be great after the break when we get Miss Byers to come on in, talk a little bit more about your roots as a student at Nashua South, who really kind of started to grow the wings that were going to take you not only down to Baltimore as a Ravens fan and as a Terp, but then all the way across the country on unfortunately on a plane out to Arizona. But before we cut to that break, why don't we go ahead and take a look back at some footage that we have of Cam interviewing the legendary Ozzie Newsome. We'll be right back with Lauren Byers as we continue this interview.
Derrick Henry to the pylon. Touchdown, Watson.
Cam Rogers here for CampusInsiders.com, and I'm alongside the general manager of the Baltimore Ravens, Mr. Ozzie Newsome. And Ozzie, of course, we have a big game on Monday night. Your Alabama Crimson Tide playing the Clemson Tigers. What are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
Well, I think the two best teams are playing on Monday night. I have a lot of respect for Dabo. He's a fellow Crimson Tider. I think Nick, not having the opportunity to get here last year, is looking forward to this game. So I think it's going to be a very entertaining game, and we all going to enjoy it.
Now, of course, you have Deshaun Watson, and you have Coker as well on the other side of the quarterback position. Who presents the bigger challenge?
Well, Deshaun now, the game has gone to a quarterback that gets both throw and run, that forces you to play a full field. But Jake has done a great job of improving throughout the year. He can make enough plays both with his feet and with his arms to keep people honest on defense, which will allow our offense to do what we need to do.
Now, I have to ask you here, your nickname was the Wizard of Oz in college. Has that stuck? Is that still your nickname today?
To some people, it is, and some people I'm just dumb and stupid because, I've missed on some draft picks. But, a lot of people still call me the Wizard, and I got that from a sports reporter in Tuscaloosa when I was at the University of Alabama.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ozzie Newsome, general manager of the Baltimore Ravens. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks for enjoying. I enjoyed chatting with you.
Welcome back to Eye on Education. If I had to say so, I think Cam gained a fan in Ozzie Newsome with that interview. Joining us in the studio now is Miss Lauren Byers, the Student Activities Coordinator at Nashua High School South, and one of Cam's early supporters back as he started to really show the potential as a future journalism star. Lauren, thanks so much for joining us right now.
Thanks for having me here.
All right, so Cam, I got the chance back in one of my early years teaching at South to work with you when you were in a special video feature of the senior class play Singin' in the Rain during your senior year. But I would say the person who knew you most as a potential broadcaster and as a student who had a whole lot of potential for entertaining was undoubtedly Miss Byers. So Lauren, can you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about your history with Cam as a student who's now going places?
Well, I've known Cam since he was actually a little boy. And right from the get-go, at the age of 3 on his bicycle, he was a standout. So when he got to South and he ran for office, and I think his first exposure probably was giving speeches to run for office, which he killed it. I mean, he was just a natural on the stage. So at that point, he and myself and the other advisors used to encourage him at every opportunity to MC or get on stage, get in front of people. And he just had a real talent, and you could see that right from the get-go.
That's outstanding. And Lauren, you're not just speaking as someone who knew Cam from the school angle, from a personal angle. You're someone who actually has some broadcast expertise of your own. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experiences as a former broadcaster?
That was a long time ago. But when I went to college, my bachelor's degree is in broadcast communications. And I did work for a CBS affiliate out in California when I first got out of college. A lot of fun. I was program director out there. And, my path took me here, and now I'm a student activities coordinator at South, which I love. And I think it was a great career move. But, so I enjoy doing, getting students that opportunity to put themselves out there.
And I think that's the perfect segue there for Cam and Lauren. How is it that you would encourage current students at South to really start to develop the kind of skill sets that they would need to take the stage, either as an entertainer, as a broadcaster, as someone who's going to take advantage of the kind of opportunities and outlets that you were able to access?
Right, so Nashville South, of course, has the TV production studio, so you have the TV production class that you could take, which I actually did not take, and I kind of regret it. So people out there definitely sign up for that. And then, of course, I think you should really get involved with your class and get involved with being a class officer, because there are a lot of public speaking opportunities there. And that was an outlet for me, as Lauren mentioned, that, the public speaking, of course, with the speeches during the elections and then emceeing events. That's a really good experience for people who want to be an entertainer, be on stage, be in front of a camera, just getting comfortable in front of a crowd. And that's really what I did throughout my career at South, was just hosting the talent show or doing speeches for elections, which I will say, Lauren, was kind of part of the motivation why I ran for office, because I wanted to do the speech. I developed leadership skills and, of course, made a lot of friends, and so that was obviously awesome as well. And so I really think, as I mentioned with journalism, it's all about hands-on experience, all about practice and just being comfortable in your own skin and, trying to find yourself in a way. What is your personality? What kind of makes you stand out? And some people have the wit, some people have the good looks. I'm not exactly Brad Pitt, so I go for the humor route. But so it's almost kind of finding a way to separate yourself in this industry as well.
Lauren, I think it's clear that we have so many opportunities for our students to get out there on the stage to take advantage of those chances, but so often they get held back either by the fear that they don't want to let their personality show, or they think somehow that they're going to be laughed out of the room, or that they'll crumble. How is it that you would give a student advice who's maybe nervous about taking the stage, whether it's during an officer election or a talent show performance?
I would actually recommend going the talent show route, because it's an opportunity to put yourself out there a little bit, doing something that's not so serious and kind of fun. And I think you enjoyed the talent show a lot. And I think just taking those baby steps, we have so many opportunities in this school district, from the educational television studio where we are now, to our own studios, to our journalism classes. I mean, it's just really a never-ending supply of opportunities. You just have to take one tiny step, being an extra in the school play. You don't have to sing or dance. Just put yourself on that stage for 2 minutes. And I think a whole world will open up to you.
That's fantastic. And Cam, I think you would agree that once you show up at college, you realize that the stage has only gotten bigger. And all of a sudden, the opportunities have multiplied, as have the people pursuing them. So as you look ahead during the rest of your career, you've still got a semester and then a full senior year. What are the things that you're looking forward to now as you start to cap off the experience at Maryland?
Right, I absolutely agree with you there. At Nashville South, really, there was no one else who really wanted to be a broadcaster, or at least wasn't as sold on it as I was. And then when I came to Maryland and I joined Philip Merrill, of course, everybody wants to be a journalist, wants to be on air. So you have a little more competition, and then you try to, up your game a little bit more. And so I'm definitely going to be involved more this semester as much as I can, because I don't want this to be just the stop of the momentum, this Campus Insiders experience and everything. I want to keep it up. I want to keep up the upward trend. So I'm going to be searching for big projects to do. Campus Insiders is actually going to do another contest. Probably won't enter it, but I'll be involved in some capacity. And of course, I'll be doing games for Maryland sports. I'll be broadcasting for the Maryland Baseball Network for radio. And I'll be doing that throughout this semester. Baseball team's very good. They went to the NCAA tournament last year, so they should be better this year as well. So that'll be exciting. And again, just kind of practicing more and more. I'll be working with ESPN.com, doing some stories about Maryland sports and sending them over, and they'll put them on their site. So that's another thing, some more digital work. And just continuing to go and working my connections. And of course, I still have my ESPN New Hampshire show on Saturdays, which I still do from Maryland, and I get people on my show there, develop connections that way. And always following up with the people that you interview is important too, sending thank you cards and whatnot. I sent thank you cards to all my supporters for the campaign, especially Seacrest. What I actually did was I Googled, I don't know if this is creepy or not, I thought it was a nice touch. I Googled some of his favorite foods, and the 3 things that are always in his fridge: Tabasco sauce, almond butter, and there was one other condiment that I included. There's a third one, I can't remember. Oh, strawberry preserves. So it's like a jam. So I included all those 3, sent a thank you card as well and a business card, and, just said thank you for the support because, of course, these people are busy, and Ryan Seacrest especially. So all of that culminates into what hopefully is a successful college career, and I just want to keep building on that.
Fantastic. Oh, well, Cam, it's been such a thrill to have you in the studio and to hear about all the successes that you've been fortunate enough to have people cheering you on toward for such a long time. Lauren, thanks so much for being one of those people who are clearly cheering on Cam and other students that we have taking up positions as officers, as performers, as leaders in our building, and continuing to nurture them as they pursue opportunities that I think could be just as big as what you've enjoyed, Cam. Before we wrap things up, though, I've got one last question for you. So we look ahead at yet another football championship coming our way. Do the Patriots have what it takes to go all the way, or is there another team who's going to, soar to number 1?
Well, with New England playing the Denver Broncos, the Broncos do not look very good right now, and I think New England will beat Denver in the AFC Championship game, and they'll end up playing Arizona in the Super Bowl. Now, the Patriots are not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. I just think they're very good on defense. They fly to the ball, great pass rush, and I don't think New England's offensive line will hold up despite Brady's great quick release. I just think that, it's tough to repeat in the NFL, so I'm going to go with Arizona as your Super Bowl 50 champions.
Whew. Well, after that
Sorry, folks.
victory over the Packers, I'd say that might be a convincing argument. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here from a Baltimore expert first, but then again, he is a Ravens fan, so he might not be the most reliable source.
You got to include the bias, of course. I understand.
Cam, as we wrap up now, we've got a special treat for our viewers to actually take a look back at some experiences that you had here in this very studio as a student involved with Nashua ETV. Can you tell us real quick, how was it that experience was something unique for you that really provided something that Nashua has that many other students wouldn't get the opportunity to plug into?
Right, Nashua ETV provides you with a hands-on experience that, of course, a classroom isn't exactly going to offer you, and that's really kind of how I got involved with it. I wanted to actually go out and do games and do play-by-play, and I remember Googling Nashua ETV, of course. They do games. You have John Collins, you have Tom King, of course. They do some of the play-by-play in color for football, basketball, etc. So I contact Pete Johnson and ask, hey, so I'm a senior in high school, I believe, and I'm asking, hey, do you think maybe a student at Nashua South could get involved? And they were into it, and so I did some games, worked with Tom King and John Collins, and I remember distinctly actually going to UNH when Nashua South basketball back in 2012, my senior year, they went to the Final Four. And that was kind of cool because you had my friends playing on the court, and there I am providing the student perspective on air for Nashua ETV. It was pretty cool. So just kind of seeing your friends out there, and I could, of course, provide that interesting information, fun facts about all my friends out there playing for South, and so it was a pretty cool experience there. But so that provided some videotape for me to kind of hold on to and look back on. And I'm sure I wasn't very good back in my senior year of high school. I don't even remember, but it was just an awesome experience and calling games. And that's obviously one avenue that I will absolutely pursue is broadcasting sporting events, because that's one outlet where you can use your personality when you're calling an exciting play or what have you. And I certainly give it up to Nashua ETV and Channel 99, Pete Johnson, and the rest of the crew for really opening up that opportunity for me. Again, just all about fostering that craft and finding your personality, and they allowed that.
Well, I think we can all agree, even in spite of bias, that it's pretty unique to be in a city and a school district where we've got opportunities like these at the fingertips of our students, and we hope that many more like you, Cam, are going to be the ones who take advantage of what's at hand and then come on back to tell us all about it. Right. So once again, Cam, Lauren, thanks so much for joining us in the studio. I'm Joel Iwaskowicz for Eye on Education. Thanks for joining us for another episode. As we wrap up, why don't we take a look back at that fledgling broadcast journalist, Cam Rogers, during his senior year in the Nashua ETV studio.
Gentlemen, what do you think we're in for here?
Well, guys, obviously South is coming off a couple of squeakers, if you will. They slipped by Salem, then they slipped by Dover. So South needs to come in, get the ball rolling fast. They need to get ahead of Trinity early. Obviously, they're the #1 seed, so it's going to be a great game.
I'm Tom King along with Cam Rogers, Christian Arcan. They decided they wanted to bang it off a purple body. They didn't need to. Look at that.
No.
See, this is what I'm telling you.
He's not in it.
I'm telling you, he's not in the
And
game.
there's the 3.
He steps into a 3, no good. Gabriel comes down with an uncontested rebound and loses it.
I'll tell you what, Gabriel needs to turn things around here because he is the momentum shifter.
Heads over to Ortolano. He hits a 3-pointer.
That's the momentum shifter right there.
I'll tell you, how about that?
Vinny Ortolano gets the 3-pointer to go, and we have a 3-point Nashua South lead with the last 15 seconds about to tick off the clock.
Another
Brad
3.
Rhodes, he answers back. That is Kennedy's first 3 of the game.
And Rhodes says, take that, Nashua South.
These games are unbelievable.
These are trying to make a move before the Pioneers can get set. He puts one up and in.
Gets
What a play!
The foul.
What a play by Preston! Holy macaroni!
Oh my gracious!
21 points. That was something. Trevor Knight will inbound. How is this one gonna end?
I can't take this.
Cam Joyle's got it. Thinks about a 3.
Dunham!
Puts it up. Dunham for 3. No good. Rebound. Comes down to Nashua South. 3-pointers up. He gets fouled. Oh my God!
Oh,
they
wow.
fouled him. Holy moly, Vince Ortolano.
With 1.2 seconds to play.
I can't believe it.
Vinny will come to the line.
Vinny Ortolano with a chance to tie this game with 1.2 seconds to go. He's got to make all 3.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Press Box here at Holman Stadium in Nashua. John Collins, Tom King, Cam Rogers getting set for today's game between the Silver Knights and the Brockton Rocks. Our first look, or my first look at the Brockton Rocks this summer,
my
Tom.
first look, too, John Collins.
Same here.
What do you expect from this game besides humidity and maybe on and off rain?
Well, he doesn't mind. You went to school down south, right?
Well, I'm at Maryland right now, so
Right,
I mean,
so this is like air conditioning for him.
yeah. Well,
So-
yeah, true, very true.
All right, so now. And behind the plate, Eric Ostberg with Ben Bankston at third.
That one hit hard. McGee will fire it over to first base, and that's the start the Knights needed. One away here. Top of the first, Cam Rogers, Tom King bringing you the broadcast here on Nashua ETV. Kyle Carruthers getting the start tonight at leadoff. The first out of the game. All right, a typical move would be right, left, to switch it around as much as you can, as that one is slapped to the right side. Nice play there by Cruz. He'll fire it over to Sullivan, and that's out number 3, so pretty much what you wanted if you're a Silver Knights fan in the top of the first. Just one hit, no runs, no errors. We will head to the bottom of the first. The Silver Knights will bat here on Nashua at ETV Channel 99. Well, if you stuck around here at Channel 99, we thank you for being loyal listeners of Nashua Silver Knights programming. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast so far, and, you know, there's a little piece of history here at historic Holman Stadium. A pipe bursting as that one goes through the 5-hole, and another run comes in. Guy could not make the play, and this is getting uglier by the second.
Sloppy second game for Brockton. 3 wild pitches. Wow, that's a pass ball.
Oh.
Cam Rogers, consummate professional. It's like he's been doing it forever. He's still here with us all week, gearing up for the game Monday night. Cam, great work so far,
Thanks
bro.
so much.
I think we're going to keep him.
I like it.